Experience podcast. My name is Brandon Devere, and we are going to be sharing real Epique agents and their experiences with Epique Realty and also the benefits of Epique. Today, we have Jessica Smith out of Austin, Texas. Hello, Jessica. How are you today?
Hey, I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hey, can you just kind of get us up to speed from, kind of a little brief background of where you came from, where, how you got into the industry to begin with?
Yeah. Geez, where do I start? So I kind of grew up not knowing what I wanted to do when I grew up. I think that's kind of common, but in college, they make you choose a major. You've never tried anything. I don't know. You're still kind of learning who you are. And I knew I wanted a job. So I was like, hey, it sounds cool to have a master's degree. I'm going to do this program in accounting where I can get a master's degree in 5 years. I think that'd be really cool. And I feel like I do stuff just to see if I could do it, like to challenge myself kind of. So I did it and I got a master's and I did the whole CPA thing, did some public accounting. And then I was like, oh, I'm kind of tired of this cube. I don't want my boss's job. I don't just love this work. And I kind of missed waiting tables and I don't know, which is weird for me to say because I consider myself a bit of an introvert, but I started coaching CrossFit and I kind of missed a little bit of peopling and I just purpose and helping people. I was like, I don't know about just helping these guys in the boardroom. So when I had my first child, I took so during my accounting job, I got my license in real estate. I'd always been curious about it. And then as soon as I had my first kid, I took that as an opportunity to quit the 9-to-5 accounting job. And it's been a fun, about 15-year journey from there. So that's initially how I got into real estate. I feel like I did it just so I could spend time with the kids and pay my bills. And it was a little bit part-time-ish. And then I got divorced and I was like, oh crap, I have to really turn this into a business now or go back to accounting. So, I joined different brokerages and tried to learn as much as I could, decided there's a bunch of all kinds of people doing well in real estate. Like, why not me? There's some stupid people making a lot of money, like if they can do it, we can
Absolutely.
do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the funny things is I'm just listening to your timeline and going myself going, oh yeah, I was there. I worked in a restaurant. Sometimes I miss serving even to this day because sometimes you just get in that whirlwind of just chaos. I was a hookah boy at one point.
Nice.
Where I just loaded bowls for a living. At my buddy calls it the hookah house, but it was a hookah lounge. That was funny. You think about going back to that to those times. And the same thing, I kind of fell into real estate as well. And so that's pretty cool that you have kind of this similar timeline and everything. So you got your license and did you join a team? Did you just go solo and I'm going to crush it or?
No, it was just a friend of the family. So I joined, super nice guy, but he was just on his own. I didn't really get a lot of training. So I had to learn how to be a good agent by being a really bad agent. And I never want anyone else to have to go through that experience. But eventually I realized I needed to join, a big box brokerage. I joined Keller Williams and from there kind of went on my journey to learn and grow.
Okay, awesome. So then have you ever had a team yourself?
Yeah. So I got really lucky and the market got crazy and I got too busy and I knew I was bottlenecking my business and I knew I wasn't serving my clients at the highest level. And, that's the way you scale in real estate. So I kind of by default grew a team and did everything wrong. The broker I was with gave me people to put on the team, but they may not have been the right fit for me and my team and what I wanted to do. And I didn't delegate correctly or hold them accountable correctly or train them correctly. So it was just kind of a stepping on each other's toes. I don't know. I've learned a lot and I'm starting a local team again now, but I really, really enjoy helping agents. And I feel like now looking back, I was an only child. I was always scared of being alone. I felt alone a lot in this industry, in this career. but I like the teamwork. I always played team sports. I always like team projects. I really like the collaboration, inspiration. I don't know, it sounds super cheesy, but I like working with other people and bouncing stuff off. This really wise guy one time told me to read Who, Not How. No, I'm just joking. It was you. But it made me realize, like, yeah, you can tap into other people's relationships, networks, experiences, just perspectives, and it's super fun. So that's part of what I like about this business model. And now I have a business partner, Jamie Winkley, shout out. We are starting another local production team and doing it better, 2.0.
That's awesome. That's incredible. So with like the team structure, and well, actually, I want to back up a little bit because I feel the exact same way. I played sports all growing up, my entire life, and I love the coaching aspect and kind of the teaching other agents, certain things. I had a podcast for a long time called Learn for Two, and the idea was to learn with the intent to teach to others, because they say, obviously, the best way to learn yourself is to teach it to someone. But even with that in mind, I just love to learn and then share what I've learned. I thought I was going to be a school teacher for a long time, but didn't end up going that route. But so now you're growing a team. You've learned from some of the kind of the mistakes previously, and now you kind of have you brought up Who, Not How. Kind of like your Who is Jamie, like kind of the yin to your yang. How important do you think it is to find that type of person, whether it's in your like running a team or being someone who wants to be part of a team?
Man, I think it's invaluable. It is so hard to learn all of the lessons on your own, and just what works for everyone is different. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. And so that book kind of showed me that this stuff I've been putting off and procrastinating on, maybe it's not just a character default. Maybe I need to find another who it's their jam, and they love it. And I love, back to the CPA introverted thing, I love systems and spreadsheets and automations and a lot of this back end stuff. And if you tell me to go network and go to these events and groups and peopling, that gives me anxiety and I get exhausted already. So I think it's so just nice. And plus, you don't have to you can take a day off. You don't have to run across town to the other side of town to go open a door or meet someone at an inspection. Like there are so many synergies to be had by finding good people that complement you and that you enjoy working with. And it makes it way more fun.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you mentioned, maybe something that is not a strength and you're finding somebody with a strength. Because I think for so long, agents are supposed to be doing like everything. Like we're taught, like we're kind of ingrained with, you do everything. You do lead gen, you do prospecting, you go show homes, you negotiate, you do all your paperwork and things like that. But some things that we're kind of not really good at, and we're supposed to be doing those. And I think I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about coaching, and with your coaches, a lot of people are hesitant to get a coach because there's a lot of focus on the things that you're doing wrong, and not necessarily enough being like, hey, who could help you? Who could you get to make you better at this? Instead of being like, hey, you got to do this. And so I see that a lot with people kind of shutting down from, hey, well, I'm not good at this, and it goes into that. Okay, we'll find somebody who is good at it, partner with them, figure out how to make it work. And so that's a daily thing for me, because I'm very much punk rock. Like I was in a punk band when I was like 19 years old. I love punk rock music, and I've always loved like the DIY spirit from it. But I've carried that into my adult life, and DIY. When I see something, I go, how can I do that? Instead of like, who can help me get there? Mm-hmm. And so it's a constant relearning of that I'm running into. But was it easy for you to just implement like that?
No, because there's so many other things you have to let go, and you have to sometimes compensate people to help you. It's super hard. And yeah, you're right. Like when we start in this business, we're like, okay, it's just me. I'm a one-man show. I have to do everything. I have to do accounting and marketing and operations and just wear all the hats. So it's really hard to get out of that mode and realize what you want to do and then focus there and let go of the other stuff that is keeping you from doing more of what you want to do. It's a
Yeah,
constant
absolutely. And
struggle
I
for
think
me
this is a
too.
perfect segue. Yeah, and I think it's a perfect segue into Epic Realty, right? Like, there's a lot of things that agents were doing before they didn't even think that someone else could take care of them. I mean, I've been in a number of trainings where I say, "Hey, does anybody have a a transaction coordinator?" And a ton of people didn't even know what it was. What is that? I said a TC. They're like, "What? What is that?" You know,
Yeah, that's
and they
nuts.
are, yeah, and so that's not even in their mind yet. And then you come over to Epic and you have this massive list of benefits. I mean, what was that kind of what drew you as well, or like what was the deciding factor that you're like, hey, Epic is a place to be?
Yeah, well, it definitely caught my attention. The list of benefits, I was like, really? Is this real? And then I go back to my spreadsheet accounting mode. And so, really, just in this time, is my business the most profitable? Do I really need to pay for all these things, or does this brokerage really provide all these things? And my previous brokerage was a similar model. And I really liked how this virtual model fosters collaboration. And there's multiple people who kind of have a vested interest in your success and who are there to help you and coach you. And different people have different, like we said, like vibes and ways that they want to run a business. So of all these people that could kind of help me, I was like, man, I feel most aligned with this person. I don't know. You can just learn from a menu per se, a smorgasbord of different
Yeah,
personalities. But the whole mindset of Epic, just wanting to do more and more for its agents, is awesome. I had never heard of a brokerage doing all that. And I've been at a few different brokerages in my day. So I, at the end of the day, had to check it out, see if it was real. I just realized that I would regret not going and watching it work from afar more than if I came over and for some reason it didn't work out and it wasn't around. Like, worst case, I would still save 20 to 30 grand a year just on my production. So I was like, okay, I know I'm going to regret not trying this thing.
do you think that with all of this, these abilities or these things these benefits and things, do you think that kind of, you know, motivated you a little bit more to starting the team, because now it's the things that you were going to have to worry about that were on your plate, now they're kind of taken off, so you're like, well, I get, now I'm not doing all this stuff, now I can do a team and focus on them.
Totally. And I realized that I really love helping and coaching agents. So whether it's the local production team or just helping agents and attracting agents to Epic, like being able to offer all this stuff to agents is not something that was in my budget before, not having, a big team. And so I'm like, great, I can offer this awesome CRM. We'll take care of your signs and lock boxes and photos and transaction coordination. It's just, I'm able to help agents in a different way and focus on the things that I'm actually good at. And the brokerage takes care of a lot of the rest. But yeah, it definitely helps helping agents. I can cross out a lot from my stuff that I have to create, my own value prop and my own, you know, stuff that's on my plate.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I've felt the same thing as well, because I had a team a long time ago, and then it kind of got a little burnt out from it, and more recently I'm like, maybe this is something that I should look back into, being able to leverage all these things that we have. What has been your favorite part about since you moved over? Because you moved over, what, about was it August ish?
Yep. I think I did a LOI in July and moved over in August. And that's such a hard
Okay, so you're
question.
going on.
There's so many things. Yep. It's like what, 4 months? Yeah, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
But it's really just a combination of everything. It is super nice that it's like a simple platform with really just the essential stuff. It's a lot less overwhelming than some of the, softwares and technologies that I've experienced. And the fact that they just keep on wanting to offer and rolling out more and more things is kind of mind blowing. But really, the people have been amazing. Like, I did a lot of research. I reached out to you and a whole bunch of other people before I joined Epic, and everyone was super generous with their time. And you kind of realize that there's smart, generous people leading this brokerage and driving the ship. And the owner, is like, yeah, let's talk. And everyone, I don't know, and just being in a smaller group and being the energy of the smaller startup type brokerage, it's not going to be small for long, but everyone was hungry and generous and kind and really smart. So that was like, okay, I kind of want to be a part of this. Like this seems fun and it makes my work stuff more fun. And it's so crazy how close you can feel to people in a virtual model and how much of a culture a brokerage can have being virtual. But, we met in person because of Epic and looking forward to meeting a lot of people on Saturday. And it's just a super fun group. What about you? I'm curious to hear your answer to that. Why did you decide to come over?
It changes so much. And for where I'm at, like right now, when I talk to, some agents, I'm not really in production that much anymore. And so there was, a component of revenue that I was really excited about, but there's certain things like, have you ever not realized that you wanted something because you just had never gotten it before? Like
Totally.
I never really wanted like recognition or anything. Like I didn't be, hey, Brandon did this, Brandon did that. Well, I never really got it anywhere before. And then now, like, I have an idea and I share it with like the board of directors or like, the co-founders, and like, oh, that's a good idea. How can we help you do that? And I'm like, what? And they're like, so for both of us, we're both on the Asian Advisory Council. And
Yes.
we get the opportunity to go to share like, hey, this is what's happening amongst us. Because I hear stuff from agents all the time that likely wouldn't go any further and tell anybody else about it. But they come and tell me, so now I can go, hey, this is what is happening. And so that right now is something that I enjoy. I didn't realize that I would even enjoy this at all. It wasn't like, hey, I'm seeking attention or I want this. But as I'm being like, oh, hey, thank you for doing this, like acknowledgement, like, hey, you should do this. This podcast, for instance, I had mentioned it to Josh and he's like, do it. It's all you. Go for it. Like, so it was, so I think that right now, but it's on a sliding scale. Like it's moving, like the target's moving all the time, because it's, you think you joined for one reason and then all these other things are happening. You're like, oh, so that's I mean, maybe it's not a good answer, but it's tough to like nail one down.
It is.
And
I think it's less like.
So, so I'm going to ask you kind of a coaching type question real quick. Like what is, and I'll let you pick. It can be a brand new agent. It can be a agent that's been in for a couple of years. It can be someone who's been in for 10, 20 years. Like, is there a piece of advice that you give to them right now, especially in kind of a tough market? And it can be specifically to your market or it can be general.
And that's a good question. I think it's not something that agents really want to hear, but it's a lot about mindset and just like having kind of a no fear attitude. And a part of it is knowing yourself and knowing what is your jam and what's not. Like I still struggle with wanting to do what other people are doing successfully and getting distracted really easily because a lot of agents are very successful in different ways. And I'm like, oh, maybe I just need to know that easy button and they have it all figured out and I don't. But at the end of the day, you have to really know what feels authentic to you. So you have to know yourself. And lead gen is not comfortable at first. And it's really just getting out of your own way, getting out of your own head, not focusing externally on circumstances or things you can't change and focusing internally. Like to change your business, you change yourself. There's a lot of agents out there now in every kind of market closing a lot of deals and doing really great. So I don't know, mindset. No agent wants to hear that, but it's true. It's really important.
Well, it's absolutely great advice, and that's the thing I'd like to say about our we're a startup, right? And you do have to have mindset in order to be to grow with us. And there's going to be there's growing pains for sure, and it's going to be. And both you and I experienced that at our previous brokerage, but it was a little bit further down than where we are now. And so without that mindset, you're going to want everything to be completely perfect instead of being like, hey, we're what did Josh call us? The trailblazers, right? Like being kind of the first ones in and helping mold. I mean, that's an awesome opportunity that we have. And, I'm completely grateful for it.
That kind of goes back to what you were saying. I think what you liked wasn't the attention or the recognition, but it's like you have a voice. Like, we actually have a voice in this company. We can improve it. We can change it. We can voice our concerns. And yeah, we're co-chairs of the agent advisory committee. So we can talk to agents, see what they're talking about and what we're experiencing, and bring it to the board and actually help bring about real change. And it's cool that they're always, looking for and open to that feedback. But you're right, it's not perfect, nor is any other brokerage. So it's just having the right mindset that the opportunity is worth the risk and the growing pains, and we're gonna continue to improve this thing.
Yep. No, I'm super, super excited. And again, like to touch on what you said earlier about, not like knowing somebody from so far away. Like you called me that in the summer to talk about, hey, what, like, give me your experience and all this stuff. And then we met a couple months ago. And then, we're on Zoom calls and things like that. But I pick up the phone randomly and just text you, like, I just saw you yesterday. And you respond, but just like that. It is weird to just be like, oh, how do you have this? How can you do that so freely and easily? So, but definitely agree with that. So you're building your team. How can someone contact you if they want more information about Epique Realty, or if they want to join your team specifically within the what is the name of your team?
The Key Group Austin is the name of my team. This is my local Austin production team that Jamie and I are running. So it's thekeygroupAustin.com. My name is Jess Smith Austin on Instagram, or Jessica Smith on Facebook. But yeah, there's a number of ways. Reach out to either one of us. And I love talking about Epique and helping agents, whatever I can do.
Awesome. Is there any specific agent that you're looking for your team, like style, or are you able to kind of help anybody?
Not anyone. I have learned the hard way that it's going to be frustrating for both parties if it's not a good fit. So for either party, if, we're not a good fit for you, if you're not a good fit for us, it's all good, and you'll find your fit, and I'll help you however you can. And the who, not how thing, I'm actually also looking for leaders to help grow and build generational wealth, but agents on my local team, really just people that are smart and driven and hungry. Like, I can teach real estate transactions all day long. It's really just that mindset and growth mindset, open to learning and coaching and taking action.
Awesome. Jess, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing you. We are going to have a national event. I'll probably see you before then, but we have a national event coming up in March, and I'm sure you'll probably be out here in Las Vegas for that event.
Yep. I can't wait. Thank you so much for having me. And it was so nice talking to you. And yeah, we'll see each other again soon.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, you too. Bye.